Hey, what's up? I'm Ga. I'm joined today by Lord Levy from the Discord. We are doing an updated tier list video. It's about time. We got a bunch of new characters. Some things are starting to change. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Probably start with the bottom tiers first. Work our way up. But real quick, Levy, say hi.
Hello, I hope everyone's ready to see us make fun of each other for our choices.
Right. I want to explain how we're going to be doing the tier list. So it's mostly going to be based off of PvP because that is like the end game, like the major content. Other things like guild raid and just vortex, whatever, will kind of factor into it a little bit. But PvP is going to be the heaviest weight on a character's ranking. We're going to be ranking them based on their maximum potential, as in like max investment, completely fully built, decked out, all that stuff. It's going to be based on a number tier. That way we can kind of split the tiers, tier like 1.5, 2.5. These will be characters that aren't quite good enough to make it into the next tier, but are quite a bit better than the tier below them. A lot of characters that me and Levy disagree on placing will probably end up in these tiers. I can already think of a couple characters off the top of my head. But
Oh, we definitely didn't start a huge debate yesterday about this one.
yeah. All right. And then as we're adding characters to the tiers, we'll probably be adding like more tiers. Just because the default for tier list maker only gives you 5 tiers, and we're gonna need a little bit more than that, I think. But right off the bat, let's just get the 4-star Wakers out of the way. You pretty much agree that most of them will end up in bottom tier.
Yeah, there was only three in particular that I mentioned to you before. Like I said, there's three that I think go up to at least tier three or tier 3.5. I
Yeah,
feel like 3.5 would be more appropriate because you're not really going to see a 4-star anywhere but 4-star arena.
right. Yeah,
Or maybe
they all kind of fall off late into the game. And the ones you were talking about were K, Noach, and
and Jacqueline.
Jacqueline.
And honestly, I won't even say it's for their kits, it's for their leader skills. Well, not except for maybe Kay, because Kay can sort of serve as your early DPS character if you're a free to play, if you happen to pull her. She's got like that double turn, she's got those crit chance follow ups. So, I mean, like, she wouldn't be bad. But other than that, her days immunity is pretty much the only reason I give her the higher rank, because that's a pretty rare one to get for your team.
Yeah.
Um, Noach, her kit, I don't even really know her kit, to be honest with you. I just know she grants full team confuse immunity, and
Yeah.
with that being so prominent in the current meta, even if she's a dead slot for you, that confuse immunity can save your life.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jacqueline is for her leader skill as well. So there's a couple of them that will boost stats for specific types. I think Ingrid does speed for agility characters. I don't remember the other one.
That's
I think it's this that does attack for strength,
yeah.
and I think someone does something for tech types. I don't know which one it
In
is.
in 5-star Wakers, there is Book Girl Cecilia that does attack for tech types. They don't have one
But
at 4-star.
Jacqueline is the one that I pick out in particular because she has a 6% speed boost for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason I give her that extra oomph, is because speed is so valuable and hers is a blanket boost as opposed to a specific type.
Yeah.
So
All right.
that's kind of my hot takes. They don't have to be tier 3, they're more probably 3.5, but they're good characters otherwise.
Um. Yeah, we'll put them in 3.5. Actually, you know what? I was thinking about naming the bottom two tiers shit and shit plus.
That might not go well.
Yeah.
My food just showed up.
Nice. All right. But that being said, if any of these characters are one of your guys' favorite characters in the whole game, don't hesitate to build them. You know, always best to
Waifu
build your
beats
waifus
meta.
over anything else.
Yeah, waifu beats meta, guys. Have fun with your game.
Yeah.
Don't let us shit all over your day.
um, let's. Do you want to go ahead and place the rest of the 5-star Awakers first before we move on to Sin Virtue Riders?
It depends on if you want to go through them or not. There's a few I can think of that don't really place super high. Like, I would say tier 3 wise, tier 3.5.
Yeah.
Stolas is definitely like that 3.5. Abella is. Charles is.
Yeah. So all right. So starting with the Awakers, then Seer.
Is this OG?
Yeah, OG Seer.
So I would put her probably 2.5.
Really?
And that's for her leader skill, actually. If you recall Kyoko doing his fights, he actually beat out my PvP team with Seer Cheese because she can prevent, I believe it's unstackable debuffs from applying to your team for the first turn or two. And that's
Okay.
actually really big because you can cut off a couple big ones.
So I thought he was using OG Seer for the on death nuke move gauge cheese.
I don't believe that's what got me because move gauge stuff against my team it wouldn't work. Remember, because Kimiko Lucy gives you steady,
Right.
so my move gauge wouldn't have been touched.
That's true.
It
How
would have
about
had to have been something like that.
gotcha? How about Cherry Seer then?
I'd put her in the same exact tier.
Yeah.
Turn 1 headwind is, I mean, that
Mhm.
cuts off a lot of the current meta's move gauge manipulation.
Yeah. I mean, just opening Headwind or anything similar is very good in current PvP.
So Seer, OG Seer is in fact immunity to unstackable debuffs. So you can actually cut off a good few things. Like if I use Bride Levy as an example,
Yeah.
her opening S2 that stacks on that charm debuff where you get hit, you get charmed.
Mhm.
It actually takes that out of the equation.
Really?
So stuff like that can't happen
Gotcha.
because it's stackable debuff.
Makes sense. All right. So then, I guess Abella would be next.
I'll be straight with you. I don't even remember what she does.
She's not good. I'm gonna put
probably-
her in tier 3 for you.
Yeah, I think she would sit tier 3.
Or 3.5. I mean,
That's fine.
Leon tier 3.5. Stolas, I think actually at max investment is tier 3.
I would say tier 3 or maybe 2.5 because, like, if you're gonna build a DPS out of a 5-star, she's probably the best one fit.
Yeah. Well, do you know what she does at plus 21?
Not a clue.
Her whole team gets 150 speed and confuse immunity.
I definitely think that would put her at 2.5 then.
Yeah, I concur. So Garcia's, I think they're really bad, but having the regen buff is kind of neat. So I would say either
I think-
3 or 3.5. It's like,
I would say 3.5 for them.
all right. Charles, OG Charles, I don't think is very good. She just has freeze immunity, so I would put her in 3.5.
Yeah, and I mean, there's 100 things that have freeze immunity at this point. So
Yeah. OG Camilla, I feel like is pretty solid, like enough to go into tier three.
I would say 2.5 for
Really?
her. She's got one of the only CC things that has no actual answer outside of complete immunity. She
Yeah.
reduces speed, and you get Team Charm immunity, which with Kimono Lucifer now out, Charm immunity is a huge thing to have.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say 2.5 for those three reasons.
Gotcha. Um, then Maid Camilla, I feel like is just infinitely worse.
I think tier three at best.
Yeah.
There's only one, and we haven't gotten Virtue raids yet, so take this one with a grain of salt. But I know that when we fight the Virtue raids, Raphael in specific part has a passive where if you critical on her, you take that damage. So
Oh,
Maid is actually really good against that specific raid because she cuts your crit rate by 100%. So you
gotcha.
cannot have a crit against that Raphael.
Okay. That's interesting to note. Um, and then Cecilia, I think she's actually pretty solid. She gives your tech types an attack boost. She has an attack and a defense buff in her kit. She has healing. I would say at least tier three.
I would agree with that one, tier three.
OG
We're getting to the
Nona.
girls. We're getting to the girls.
Yeah. OG Nona is at minimum tier two.
I have to concur. I would almost say 1.5 because her multi-turn crowd control, I don't believe I've seen outside of OG not. Because her stun lasts for more than one turn, I don't think anyone else does that.
Untrue.
That's why I said I don't think. I couldn't.
Let me find her real quick. OG Luciana has 2 turn days.
So there's more than one. But yeah,
Yeah.
I would think I would say 1.5 almost for OG Nana. Her kit's just really good. She's got shield removal. She gives you all damage reduction. Um,
Mm-hmm.
she can be pretty fast. She's got multi-turn stuns. She's got multi-person stuns.
Yeah. She also has shielding. Like she can give your characters shields. She can lower cooldowns.
So, and I mean, I know Awakers aren't hugely great, but with her super evo, her stats aren't exactly low.
No.
Like, keep up.
Yeah. She's actually
That's
pretty
my
solid
reasoning.
at plus 21.
So that would be my reasoning. Plus, she is the only character that gives your team stun immunity.
Mm-hmm.
How many stuns are out there in PvP? I'm looking at the players that use Michael and OG Lucifer.
Yep.
That's a super valuable part to her kit. So that's my opinion on it. I think 1.5.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. And then Chaco Nona goes up to 1.5 with Nona, I'd say.
I'm gonna be straight. I'd put her at tier 1.
Um,
You know I love the character,
yeah,
but so we all know Roman, right? You know who that is. You've talked with him a good bit. I think
Yeah.
you called him in your last video too. He and I were fighting against each other in Grand Coliseum. Let me see if I can pull up the game. I don't remember. I don't recall if it's still in here. It might have gone past already. Yeah, I think it's already gone past. But he and I were fighting each other in Grand Coliseum, and his team too was like it was a loaded team. I think it had like Christmas Satan, it had Glory Belial, and a couple other notable characters.
yeah,
I think Michael as well. My team definitely did the extra damage because my Chocolate Nana is not built to do damage. She's built to be fast.
yeah.
but if she did not exist in that fight, I would have lost. She pulled off all the all damage reduction that he had because once she uses her skill 3 for
Yeah.
the rest of the match, anything she does removes all damage reduction, whether it be her skill 1, her skill 2, her skill 3. All of it removes it.
Yeah.
Lowered attack so that my guys could survive. The move gauge reduction kept the Glory Belial from even taking a turn. And then her skill 1 and her skill 2 together just stunned out everything.
Yeah.
So he could not get anything to actually have their turn. Like, she literally carried the fight. The only thing the other 4 did was do damage.
Nice. Okay, how about this? I'll put her above OG Nona in tier 1.5.
That's fair. That's just me. And in addition to that, her leader skill is really good for an Awakener.
Yeah.
You get the one. I mean, it's only one charm, but that's turn 0 crowd control and is
Yeah.
confusing. So you're
Yeah.
getting rid of that confuse extra.
Yeah, the confuse immunity is definitely a big reason to pick her right now. So the next couple of Awakers, Ginevra, I think is the next one.
Minerva?
So she has steady as her skill and gives a shield, I believe.
She does give a shield. It's not huge.
No,
It's
it's like 3,000 or something.
it's actually 10,000.
That's not bad.
10,000 HP shield on 2 allies with the lowest health.
Not bad.
So
I'd say she's probably like
I
top of
put-
tier 3 at least, maybe 3 2.5.
I actually would say she's tier 2. She has a couple of rare things that other characters don't. So she's one of the few characters that can actually remove Iron Wrist, which is a big boost in attack for everybody.
Yeah.
She can grant herself CC immunity, and her S3 in particular, when she uses it, if she doesn't kill what she hits, she will pursue every single enemy, and it has a 1 in 5 chance of dazing.
Okay.
Her S2 will pursue all enemies. Like, once she uses it, she pursues every single enemy, and it has the original thing has a 20% chance to daze. Its range is all enemies, and then she pursues all enemies with a chance to inflict attack down and a lower chance to inflict daze again. So it's 10% on the pursue. But still, that's a 30% chance to daze every single enemy.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
And then her S1 has a 35% chance to give her allies Fervor, which is a 5% attack up. So and it goes up as she goes. So I think at level 5, because mine's only at rank 4, skill 4.
Yeah.
Once you get her to plus 14, Fervor is an absolute trigger. So it happens every time, and it's 7% attack at that point.
Okay.
So it's 35%.
Yeah, and she's super fast too. All right, so with tier 2, Anastasia.
I think people used her as a DPS
Yeah,
before some of the other characters
like
came out.
at plus 21, she's solid. Like she's not amazing even with Super Evo. She's mostly just kind of like a defense break character that can self heal and self propel her own move gauge.
She's really squishy though. I
Kind of,
used her
yeah.
back in the day. She was really squishy when I used her back in the day.
Yeah, I mean her Super Evo helps out a lot with that. But I still feel like she doesn't really get enough speed that she needs. So I was gonna say either 2.5 or 3. Probably top of 3. I'm gonna put her top of 3.
I would say 3 as well.
So OG Luciana, I think should go up here with either Seer or like above Anastasia. So I don't know if you've seen Luciana's Consonants.
I can't say that I have.
She gets like an 800 speed boost.
I gotta find her. There she is. Let's see here. She also removes steady and inflicts headwind when doing damage. Fun fact.
Huh.
She gets 800 speed for 3 turns. So,
Yeah, and she also has 2-turn days on her ult, I believe.
hang on, I gotta pull her up in the Soulpedia real quick. Let's take a look. So at max, it's a 3-turn CT though, so she does have to take 3 turns first. And
Yeah,
it's
I
not
mean,
like,
there's ways around that though.
and it's not well, yeah, we know one way, but like
Yeah,
it's not like she's speed ref where she can really just jump her turns and get
yeah.
her CT down like that. She does get 12% speed boost from her passive too.
Mm-hmm.
And she's at 1068, so about 1800 with her consonants at start
Yeah.
for 12%, so about a levy boost. I mean, it's not bad, but I mean, that speed's about the same as an SVR. She
Well,
still could
you can probably get her speed with gear and karma probably in like the 2K range. And then if you max her consonants, she'll be at like 2800.
well, that's kind of what I'm saying is like even with all that, she probably tops out about 25 actually, because 18 would be with her max consonants and just max initial stats, and once you factor in gear, which if you did just and I'm going just base on this one, so if you did like the slot 225 and
Yeah.
then night, that's only about 325 plus 300 from consonants, just the base consonants upgrades. So she'd be sitting around 24, 2500. But I mean, even on the low end of that, Chocolate Nana, for example, she can hit. I've got her up to 2600, and that's without consonants or Super Evo.
Yeah.
So she's fast, but I mean, a general SVR would still get her pretty quickly.
It depends on your substats for your gear, but I'm pretty sure you can get her up to like at least 26, maybe 28 if you're lucky.
I mean, you could. It's just I'm looking at all the speed boosters that we use right now, like all the Sariels, all the Leviathans, all the Pangeas. Like just the team comps that come at her, I don't know if she would be able to keep above what a normal SVR does right now.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like you could also just put her in a speed comp as well, which be even faster.
I think I would say high end of 3, personally.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, Daniela is just taunt immunity, so 3.5. Um,
I almost want to say that she should be 3 because she's the only one that has that taunt immunity,
I
which
guess.
that's a good factor in Vortex as well.
Yeah, I'll put her top of 3.5. And then Summer Luciana.
I'd easily say 2.5 with all the move gauge shenanigans that goes on and all the Christmas Satan right now. She's one of the few answers that we have,
She's
just
a
in terms of an awaker.
yeah, she's a cheap source of steady, and maxed out she can actually buff up your own team's move gauge pretty well. So she's pretty solid all around. She used to see a lot more play when she first came out. She's fallen off a little bit, but if you need
She saw a lot more
steady,
play before we got Chocolate Asteroid.
yeah. Let's see. Next is Hannah.
I would say 3.5. I don't even think I've ever seen her used.
Yeah, her her support ability is actually pretty solid. It's like your whole team gets like an attack and speed boost, I think.
It might be. I think the only reason I built mine up was because I needed her for consonants, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah. Then Beast Nikita, I feel like goes at minimum in tier 2.
I think 2.5. She's not. Her passive on her death is probably the reason people even use her. I can name one in particular that does that.
Yeah.
But she's not strong enough for me to sit here and say that she'd be tier 2 because she's not really used for anything but that one thing.
I mean, she has some buffs in her kit, and then pretty much anytime she crits, she has a chance to daze.
But that's also assuming she gets that turn. That's kind of what I'm saying is people use her just to die, basically. That way they can have their Belial take an extra turn.
Wonder who you could be talking about.
Not pointing any fingers.
Clarice, probably
Did
3.5.
you skip Shalimar?
Huh?
Did you skip Shalimar? I've got Shalimar next.
You have Shalimar next?
Yeah.
Oh. Alright, fine, Shalimar. Probably tier 3. Or 3.5.
I'd say tier 3. Just because she's our only source of enchant immunity, and that's needed in Vortex.
Yeah. We might have to expand the tier list at some point. But Clarice, either 3 or 3.5, I'd say.
I think there's only one person that actually likes her. I'd say 3, just because her passive is pretty nice. Like, her turn start removes any dots on you, and she does actually have a lot of stat reductions. So, like, 2 random enemies max get minus 20% attack, 2 random enemies get minus 12% speed, and 2 random enemies get their skill cooldowns increased by 2. So she's not bad, she's just not amazing.
Yeah.
So I think I'd say 3.
That's fair. Furka.
Probably 2.5, I'd say.
Yeah.
She's used a lot for that move gauge stuff.
Yeah, if she ever got a super evolution and they made her ult turn 0, like, she would be amazing.
I have to agree on that one, but I don't know if they'd ever do the turn 0 ultimate on her. That's pretty much a free turn for your whole team.
Yeah. Let's see. Zoe's next.
I think she just has freeze immunity.
Yeah, she just freeze immunity. I'm gonna put her next to Charles.
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Amber, kind of dookie. 3.5, I'd say.
3.5. I have Punica. I'd say 3.5 on her as well.
3.5 as well.
Yeah, she's not great.
Nah. Thyla.
Thyla, whichever way you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Probably 5. She's not as good as she used to be.
Right.
I mean, turn 1 all damage reduction, you can't ignore that that's just a great addition.
Mm-hmm.
All of her healing, she can revive. Just, in general, she's a good character. It's just we're at a meta where ADR doesn't help immensely anymore.
Yeah. I still say she's probably better than everyone in 3.5, so I'm going to put her at, like, closer to the bottom of tier 3.
Oh, I was saying 2.5.
Oh, you were saying 2.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she's still that good, because people can still use her in stuff like Grand Coliseum and sneak wins.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion. There's not many characters that have revives.
Right. Viola is next.
Probably the same as Phila. I'd say 2.5.
Yeah, Viola's really solid. She has Confuse immunity. She cleanses Confuse. She has like a bunch of CC in her kit, a bunch of follow-ups too.
Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah. Let's see. Ravinia?
I'd say 3.5. I don't think she's been used since she came out.
Yeah.
She has some revives, and it can be a 5-person revive, but you also have to get her to that point.
Yeah.
She's never good enough that she's been used.
The only person I've ever seen use her is Raisin Bran. And back in the day, I fought against him in Grand Coliseum and lost to his team with Ravinia on it.
Well, the rest of his team is cracked, though.
Yeah. Okay, so we gotta skip some of the SVRs. Last couple of Awakers. Bunny Charles.
I'd say tier 3.
That's fair. Probably closer to the top of tier 3. She's pretty solid. Layla?
I don't even know what Layla does. I've never looked at her. I have never read her. I don't know what she does.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you, she is probably right at the top of tier 3, maybe bottom of 2.5.
I can go with tier 3, just based on usage, because I don't think anyone that isn't running Awakers has ever used her.
Yeah. Dixie, probably like tier 1, to be honest.
I'd put her tier 2, maybe 1.5. I'd say 1.5.
All right, I'll compromise. 1.5, right behind the Nonas.
She's really good. I mean, you pair her with Christmas Satan, but I mean, there's better answers and characters that are just faster and do more of the same thing she can do. The biggest thing she's got is the speed boost and the
cooldown reduction.
Yeah, and the cooldowns.
I mean, sometimes that's all you need though. Like, she enables so many cheese strats. Like,
she does, but it's easily countered, is what I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, yeah. Like, so Nona's ult at, I think it's at plus 19, is a 2-turn cooldown. You pair her up with Dixie and you can instantly like stun 3 enemies for 2 turns. It's like,
you also have to get there, and you have to think about all the turn 1 CC that exists.
Yeah, but
so that's why I can't really
3
put
other
that,
slots
like,
on your
higher.
team at that point. I think Dixie's amazing.
I still say 1.5. I don't think she's better than what the Nonas can do.
All right. So last Awaker is OG Nikita.
Yet another one that I still don't know what she does. I haven't heard her
She
yet.
is like if they made Gunslinger Lucy an Awaker.
And actually, does probably half the damage. I'd probably say low end of maybe tier 2, maybe high end. I've not seen her used.
Yeah.
And have the materials to make her good right now.
Right. Well, that's because we got shafted with her release. Like, we didn't get a banner for her. We didn't get Soul Mirror, so like everyone just has a +0 Nikita sitting in their box. So
I'm just gonna say low, like maybe high end of tier 3, simply because of the shaft.
Yeah, that's where I put her. I put her at the top of tier 3. Okay, so moving on to SVRs, starting top left with OG Lucy.
I think I'd say tier 1. She's not bad, but she's not amazing.
Yeah, she's
Even
a solid
1.5.
all-rounder, I feel like.
I'd maybe even say 1.5, because she doesn't have the same game-changing presence that she used to have.
Yeah, that's fair. Summer Lucy.
Tier 2. She's still good, but she definitely fell off from what she can do. A lot of what her kit is just done by other characters at this point.
Yeah, like I feel like she got some good buffs with her consonants that just came out.
Yeah. She did. It's just I don't know if I could give her higher than tier two, at least for what we're currently looking at.
Yeah, yeah, same. Winter Lucy.
I'd give her tier one. She's still high presence in PvP. Her
Mm,
passive is still good. Turn zero cooldown or turn zero CC.
yeah,
She's got that same presence, and she's still just as scary unless you're running what's it called? Freeze immunities.
right. Yeah, no, she's cracked, and she got even better with her consonants. All right, OG Levy.
You already know my opinion on this one, but I am being fair. I still say she's tier zero.
Yeah.
When you give her plus 21, I'm sorry. If you need three characters to counter your passive, you're tier zero.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like before you even said anything, I put her into tier zero. She's her just her passive alone gets her into tier zero. Like being able to mod speed by a total of like 40% is absolutely just insane.
When she gets blood packed as well, I don't know if you looked at it. When she gets her blood packed, she becomes the AoE queen. I swear.
Damn.
So her blood pact will give her skill 2 a 5 unit range. In addition to all 5 units get frozen.
Jesus Christ.
Her skill 3 gets a CT reduction of 2, which means right after her first turn, she can use it. So she'll use turn 1, freeze everything, turn 2, freeze everything again, and drop their move gauge by 35%. Because
Yeah.
when you get plus 21, her freeze and her move gauge reduction on her S3 are guaranteed.
Yep.
So,
All right. So
which, she's ridiculous.
yeah, Summer Levy then.
I think either tier 1 or maybe 0.5. She is one of actually 2 units that can remove steady from an entire team.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the other one is actually, I want to say it's Beer Wrath. I think it's Beer Wrath, but I'm probably wrong. But, I mean, she's got guaranteed freeze, HP percent damage, removes steady, gives all damage reduction, has a base attack increase for everybody at turn 0.
Yep.
Just overall, she's like a general unit, but she's good overall. Like if you pair her
Yeah.
with Christmas Lucifer and Mammon, she's going to do some work.
Yeah. All right. OG Satan. Probably tier 2.
She's still not bad for raids.
Yeah.
She doesn't have bad damage. She does have super evo, and I believe her consonants.
Yeah.
But I people don't even upgrade her consonants because they don't want the shield to like have some odd interactions with people.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she doesn't overreach. She's kind of like Summer Lucifer. She's good, but she doesn't really reach higher than anything like that. Like
Mhm.
you pick between her or maybe OG Lucifer, you're still gonna pick OG Lucifer.
Yeah, absolutely. Christmas Lucy, though, on the other hand, I think tier 0.
I mean, yeah, tier 0. I can't disagree with that. She's cracked.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know she does insane damage. She's got an insane move gauge nuke. It's hard for me to say anything other than tier 0.
Yeah, seriously, she just does so much damage. She does like everything, like pretty much whatever you want, like in a character. Between Leviathan and Christmas Satan, you've got everything right there.
Pretty much.
So OG Belfie.
I'd say probably tier 2.
Yeah.
She's got higher stats, and if you fight a maxed out Belfie, which I'm pretty sure only like one person has,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, she's kind of scary when fully built.
But with certain units that we'll talk about later, like Esmira existing, her defense and how you build her just doesn't matter.
Yeah, we'll get to Esmira. Ghostwalker Belfie. I actually haven't really looked at this character in a long time, just because I don't feel like she's relevant at all.
I'd say high end of tier 3. Like if you use Ghostwalker Belfie, it's her kit pretty much just counters OG Belfie.
Really?
Kind of what it does.
Damn.
If I remember right, she removes Harden, which is what OG Belfie gives you. Like the defensive upgrades that you get from OG Belfie
Yeah.
is pretty much what Ghostwalker does. She has some other things, like she can remove allies' special move seal with her skill 1.
Okay.
Have the manual for that to matter.
Yeah.
She grants Harden to allies and removes their taunt and freeze, but she needs to be fast enough to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, she can give your allies all damage reduction, the 2 that have the lowest HP, but if I was going to use her for that, I would just use Summer Leviathan, who does that with her skill 2.
Yeah.
And, like, that's kind of it. Like, if she's affected by taunt, she can do some other stuff, but that's assuming that someone you're fighting is using taunt.
Right. All right. So
She's not great.
yeah. OG Mamon now.
I'd say probably tier 0.5.
Yeah.
She's not tier 0, but she's good enough, and especially when she gets her level 10 consonants, she'll be good enough that she's going to be used a lot. And
Yeah.
should
I think she jumps up to tier 0 after that.
Yeah. I still don't know if I could say tier 0 to it. I think I still say 0.5, just because like it's an easy counter. Like, a lot of people will be using Mammon, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're using a plus 21 Leviathan, she does not matter at all.
But what if you used Mamon and Leviathan?
That's assuming people remember to do that. This is a global server we're talking about here, Ga.
Yeah. True.
We all know what happens in global.
We don't read. So, which Mamon then?
I'd say either 1 or 1.5.
That's fair.
I lean towards 1.5 because her uses are kind of specific to agility teams.
Yeah, for now, yeah.
Unless they give her a super evo that like changes that condition, I think I'd say 1.5.
Yeah. She also removes Confuse with her skill 2, assuming you don't have her plus 15 yet.
There's easier answers to that though. Like,
Yeah.
you could have Bride Levy be in there and she's faster. You could use Beer Raphael and that's just blanket. You don't even need a skill.
Yeah. But for agility teams, and I feel like agility teams are like some of the best you can run, she's amazing. Like, she increases HP and crit rate.
Oh yeah. I'm not disagreeing with that. It's just I don't know if I could give her higher than that 1.5.
Yeah, that's fair. So OG Bub.
I'd say tier 1 because she still is a very good answer to some of these turn 0 ultimates like Christmas Satan and Lucifer. She does have HP percent damage. She does have heals. Her dots are good.
Yeah, she's got move gauge buff.
Yeah, her defense break is multiple enemies, and
Yeah.
it's 50%, so it's not like it's a small defense break either.
Right.
So I give her tier 1. She's still a pretty relevant unit. It's just I think people don't really use her.
And then was this Festival Uriel? Or not Uriel, Beelzebub?
Festival Bubs.
Yeah.
I'd say 1.5. You basically need OG Bub to use her because
Yeah.
that's where it's her full boost. But she got 80 all damage reduction or removal, I should say. I think reduction too. She's not hugely impactful unless you run OG Bub, at least in my mind.
Right. All
Like,
right.
she can remove headwind and stuff. She inflicts headwind.
Yeah. I mean, she's not bad, but you kind of do need to pair her up with OG Bub to really get any sort of value from her.
Yeah, and I mean it's a full team HP boost, so it's good.
Yeah,
It's just she's specific to another unit, and I don't know if I can get her higher because of that.
yeah. All right, Asmo tier 0.
We have to be fair. I will give you this. Personally speaking, I think I would give her either tier 1 or point 0.5.
I feel like
With
point 0.5 is a little generous, but I'll take tier 1.
the new Lucy, she's a good answer for. If you're running agility teams, she's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get all the conditions removed from her charms and stuff, I think that definitely brought up her usefulness.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely with her super evolution. Oh yeah, because she like before that, I probably would have put her in like tier 2. Um, but I think her super evolution actually gave her quite a bit of not just utility, but like stats, which were really important for her.
Yeah. So that's my opinion on it. I don't think she's bad by any means. She's really good for what we have right now.
Yeah. All right, and then next version of Asmo, the New Year's.
I'd give her either 1.5 or 2.
Yeah.
I know you use her,
Yeah.
but outside of being a DPS, I don't know a whole lot about her kit. But I haven't seen her be impactful.
Yeah. Basically, she's just kind of power crept. She does a lot of good stuff, but there's just other characters that do it better. I do think she is a little bit better than some of the tier 2 characters. Just because she does have some buffs. She has headwind, she has some healing, she has some follow ups. She
Has that
charms,
move
obviously.
gauge down on her S3,
Yeah,
but she has to get to her S3 is the problem.
yeah. Um, she also takes less damage from tech types, and having that extra little bit of tankiness is kind of nice. So I'd probably put her bottom of tier 1.5.
I can agree with that. I can't see her being higher than that.
Yeah. Belial.
I'd say she's probably tier 1.5 now, if I'm being honest.
Really?
She is still super, super strong. Do not mistake me. And we all know how I feel about Belial. That's never been hidden. But in our current meta, as strong as she is, there is so many counters to Belial now that I don't see her being stronger than 1.5 anymore.
I'm gonna have to. I see what you're saying, but I still think she is just like
Let me put it like
crazy
this:
good.
if I look at a team and I see a Belial in the team, and we'll say Panagia in a team,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care that the Belial's there anymore. That's an easier answer. You can use General Sandy. You can. Most of the Belials I fight, I don't even have heal block or heal reduction anymore. I
Yeah.
just straight can power through them.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Belial. Is there is characters that are just more scary.
Yeah.
So, actually, did I say 1.5? I
You said
actually meant
1.5.
0.5.
Oh, point
I meant to
0.5.
say 0.5.
Yeah, that's
My
why I was like, damn, bro. Like, I know you hate Belial, but 1.5? That's
That's
crazy.
my mistake. I meant to say 0.5. I don't know. My brain stopped for a second. I would say 0.5, but she is not tier 0 anymore.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So OG Astaroth, tier 4.
Tier 2.5.
Okay, 2.5. I'd say she.
I love the character. She's just. It's the elephant in the room. She's just bad.
Yeah.
Bad. The most you got is you can steal people's ADR off of her. Like that's kind of it.
Yeah. But Choco Asta though. Choco Asta kind of good.
I'd say tier 1.
Yeah.
Probably like high end of tier 1. She's still really good, She gets absolutely cucked by some characters that we'll discuss later, but
Hmm.
she's still probably one of the top of tier one for what she does.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
if you're running reds in general, you want that character.
Yep, definitely. All right, so OG Michael.
I would say probably tier one as well.
Hmm.
I give her tier one just because her passive kind of just falls off now because
Yeah.
you need a Lucifer on somebody's team, and specifically an OG Lucifer
Yep.
on somebody's team for her to get her full kick.
Yeah.
I mean, turn zero stuns.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Yeah. Turn zero stun two characters still as strong as ever right now. That, and she also has super evolution consonants, so like you can make her hit really hard. Like she has all damage reduction, so even if you don't build her the fastest, you can just get her like 9,000 attack, and then when she goes, she just wipes.
The only reason I disagree on the ADR now is because of how many characters get rid of it in her meta.
Yeah, that's
Because if
fair.
you're running Komodo Lucifer, her turn 0 S3, just bam, everybody's ADR is gone.
Mm. Gotcha.
And that's an extreme example, but that character is becoming prominent, and we all know it.
Yeah. All right, you guys hear that? If you are a fan of Michael, if you have her built, time to convert to Speed Michael.
Yeah, I would honestly say that, yes. Because you're not going to stop Komodo Lucifer. She's got CC immunity, so
Yeah.
even if you get her, it don't matter.
Right? So OG Uriel. I actually underrated this character. I think she's cracked.
I would say tier 1. I don't know if I can give her 0.5. She's really, really good now, especially maxed out. 'Cause
Hmm.
let's just say that's one of my very slow projects going on right now. But I can't put her above that. She's really good. She can out tank people. Her dots are insane.
Hmm.
A lot of characters now can remove that dot. I'll use Festival Uriel as an example, who's a rather popular pick.
Yeah.
She's good. She's got a lot of good things in her, and
Yeah.
she's really, really fast. It's just
Crazy fast.
she's just not as broken as some of the other characters are.
That's fair. So Phoenix Uriel.
I forget this character exists half the
Me
time.
too.
I would say 1.5 purely because HP percentage damage is still that strong.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing to laugh at. You get hit by it, it's gonna hurt.
Mm-hmm. Sariel. Tier 0.
I'd say 0.5. She's really good.
Top of 0.5.
She's not broken.
Yeah, I mean, just like having a maxed out Sariel, 10% speed for your entire team, the entire battle. She shreds your opponent's two bulkiest enemy or characters, teammates, whatever. She's got a revive, she's got move gauge pushing, she's got a DOT that's based off of your opponent's attack, and like a lot of these popular characters are gonna have high attack. So even if your Sariel has one attack point, like literally one, and she hits something like a Belial that's at 10k attack, it's gonna hurt when that DOT goes off.
The thing, and this is what I was bringing up earlier with Uriel, the thing I have to point out with that is there's a lot of characters now in high level meta that are removing dots. Mammon is an example.
Yep.
Bride Levy, I believe, can also remove it because she removes unstackable debuffs.
Do
From-
DOTs count as debuffs though?
They do.
Uh,
DOTs aren't CC. They are counted as debuff because it still goes through CC immunity.
yeah. I thought maybe they counted as something separate.
What are some of the other ones? Festival Uriel is another example. She gets rid of dots, and these are just three in particular that I can point out, but they're all popular picks.
Yeah.
Like
Well, Mammon being
how
the
many
most
teams?
popular.
Especially just having Mammon. How many teams do you see Mammon on right now?
She's one of the most popular characters in PvP, and she doesn't just remove the DOT; she converts it to healing.
So that's my pointing with that. I still think Sariel is good, but even stuff like the move gauge push,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of characters that have headwind now. for example, or um, turn zero move gauge traps that we'll talk about with a different character.
Yeah.
That I
Oh, Sariel also gives your team steady on her S2.
which is fine, but she needs to get her turn first.
Um, I mean, you can build her
I,
pretty fast. Mine is at 2400 speed before her own boost, and I think it's Roman who has his at like 2460.
and that's also assuming you're fighting like something that really matters with the move gauge reduction. So like if
Yeah,
we use my team for example, I don't really play with move gauge that much anymore. What I do is
yeah,
stop for move gauge, as opposed to I manipulate. I just end up faster because Leviathan is broken as shit right.
yeah,
But I'd say point 0.5. When she gets her Super Evo and we see what it does, I could probably put her higher. But for what we're currently fighting, I don't think I could put her higher.
that's fair. So her ult then.
I would say tier 1. I
Really?
have fought I have fought a couple of these Sariels that are royal pains with their revives and just their extra stuff in between.
Yeah, well, especially
I
with
cannot
her.
say that this I cannot say that this is an underpowered alternate.
Yeah,
She is pretty strong.
yeah, especially with her consonants, like. So it's just mean sometimes.
And you got to think she's immune to slow. So if you go against like an OG Leviathan, for example, the slow doesn't apply. So that's just a smaller boost, and she might be able to catch and go faster.
Yeah.
So
So
that's just my opinion, though.
yeah, I actually don't have too much experience fighting against this character, so I'd say where you said is fine. So OG Sandy then.
Probably 2.5 or 3 is my opinion.
Really that far down?
She's got CC immunity, and
Yeah.
she doesn't really care about dots, but that's pretty much all she's got.
Yeah.
She's she's not a great character. I think of the virtues, of the OG virtues, I would probably rank her as the worst one.
Yeah.
To say, like she is not good.
She's not great. Still better than Astaroth though.
Oh yeah, by far. The OG Astaroth is just. I feel bad for the Astaroth simps.
Yeah. So Sandy's first alt then, General Sandy, significant improvement.
Point 0.5. Point 0.5.
Yeah.
I tier 0, but definitely 0.5.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic character.
She is the counter for like half of the characters that are in tier
Yeah.
0 right now.
Yeah. So Metatron, OG Metatron, probably 0.5 as well.
I actually think I put this one at tier 0.
Really?
I'm not saying that because she is broken in any way, shape, or form. I actually think OG Metatron is one of probably the more balanced characters
Mm-hmm.
because she's the only character that can do what she does. She's the only character that grants CC immunity to up to 3 characters on your team with the highest attack.
3?
Yeah.
I thought it was 2.
If you get her to plus 21, it's 3.
Oh, I did not know that. Yes, tier
Yeah.
0.
And I mean, her revive, I believe at plus 21, if you kill her, her revive is 3 characters as well.
Damn. Okay, yeah.
So, she is really good, but she's also the only cast that does that. At least right now, until we get, Titty Monster Astaroth later.
Yeah. So then Metatron's alt.
I put her at tier 1. This is again fighting Roman. I'm going to example again. When I fought him, my tier 3 team in Grand Coliseum is all tech types, right?
Yeah.
And I was fighting against him. I'm pretty sure he had a Belial on his team and like a couple of other notable like anti-tech units. And he actually got my Metatron close enough to death that when she kicked in, her healing full healed like most of my team, and then my Chino brought everybody back to full HP, and they just steamrolled him after that.
Yeah.
In addition to that, she popped off all of his buffs and was charming his units with her S1 so they weren't coming after me. It's a bit niche. I could understand if someone said 1.5, but I think between 1 and 1.5. In addition to just, she gives you almost 20,000 HP on your first turn.
Yeah.
Shields.
Yeah. I kind of want to put her at the top of 1.5.
I'm fine with that. She's a strong character.
Yeah.
Like, she's not going to fit everybody's teams, but if you run her with a green team, oh man, that is probably the best character to put with greens.
Yeah.
At least if you healer and a support. Like, if you want to do a general green team right now, probably use Christmas Lucifer, Summer Leviathan, Mammon, Cheerleader Metatron, and then I'd even say like General Sandy or Chino at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have a team that's just going to be a real nightmare for people.
Yeah. Speaking of nightmares, OG Raph.
Yes. I put her at 0.5.
Same.
And there's probably going to be a lot of upset from people thinking, well, she's not that good. What are you saying?
No, she is
I'm
that
going to
good.
point out she is that good. So I'm going to point out a few things for her. So she's one of the few characters that has power attack seal that can hit multiple enemies. And when it does that, it doesn't necessarily stop their turn, but it locks out their power attack, which everybody knows most of your first turn is your units using their power attacks, unless they're the exceptions. Christmas Satan, Kimono Lucifer, that type of thing.
Yep.
Her passive, Zero Acceleration, that's its own entire category. So if you have immunity to headwind, guess what? It still goes through. Zero Acceleration is not counted as headwind. It is
Better
its
headwind
modifier. So she's got that. Her skill 3 has cooldown reductions for your team. She's got healing. She can power attack seal on her skill 1. And when she gets her blood packs, it ramps it up even more. So her skill 1 can power attack seal whatever it hits. When you get blood packed for it, it power attack seals 3 enemies because it adds the targets to +2.
Jeez. Well, I don't think we should be discussing future buffs to a character, technically, for their placing. But yeah, she is going to get even better.
And for the current meta as well, that Zero Acceleration is going to just eat people. Because if you think of Kimono Lucifer, if you think of the Sariels, the General Sandalphons, some of the other big ones, Bubs herself.
Yep. Michael has move gauge acceleration.
Idol Michael as well.
Yeah, Choco Astaroth has move gauge acceleration.
I'm just going to tell you right now, and this is my advice to anyone playing PvP, if you are using Chocolate Astaroth and you see someone with an OG Raphael, do not fight them. Lose. Just giving you that forward thought now, because Chocolate Astaroth is utterly shafted by Raphael right now.
Yeah, so Raph's alt then, Speedrunner Raph.
I'd say T1, maybe 1.5. With her S3 now fixed, she's not really broken anymore.
Yeah.
And she's easily countered, literally by her OG version.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
She's a great character, and I love her, but her whole thing is to go fast and boost her own move gauge, but Headwind or OG Raphael, well, yeah, now you're just screwed.
Yep. Yeah, I'll put her top of 1.5 right next to Cheerleader Metatron, I think.
I still love the character. We'll see what happens when she gets her Super Evo and her consonants. It might change some things.
Yeah. Alright, Gabby, OG Gabby, tier 4.
I can't even say tier 4. If you
Gabby
can keep
tier?
her alive, if you can keep her alive, I think I'd say 1.5. I feel like Jade shows us enough that character is a tactical nuke if she lives. you will die.
Yes.
Very.
Oh yeah, she hits very hard.
So I think I'd say 1.5, probably the like middle of 1.5.
All right, we'll put her next to Bub on the tier list in 1.5 because they can be buddies right there.
Oh yeah,
Let's see. Hero Gab.
tier one, easy.
Yeah, I mean
Fast as
opening
hell. Turn
CC.
one, turn one crowd control.
Yep. Put her right next
And
to
it's,
Winter Lucy.
and it's the two highest speed that she hits on the enemy team too.
Hmm.
So whatever their two fastest are, you just took them out for a turn. And
Yeah.
if it happens to be someone's Christmas Satan, they're really upset at you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this next one, Esmira, tier either 0 or 0.5. I will not take anything less than that.
I'm gonna say point 0.5. Having used the character, using the character, and seeing how she functions properly, she is super strong right now. I'm
Yep.
not gonna deny that. That Super Evo with her turn 1 S3 and the 100% defense immediately, that's unremovable. She is super strong. I give her point 0.5 because she is so easy to counter. She has no immunities. She counters herself.
Yeah. Okay, so the reasoning behind a tier 0 character is that they counter themselves, right? Like that's how you know you have a tier 0 character.
Correct, but it's not just her that counters herself. So you
Yeah.
can easily work around her with other characters that have defense breaks, like Leviathan, for example, or one of some of our other notable ones up here. OG Bub.
Mhm.
L2 has that defense down, and she's faster than her, for example. OG Michael can just stun her out. The thing is she's so susceptible to cooldown increases and turn 0 just crowd control in general.
Yeah.
And there's a characters that are faster than her by a long shot. Even General Sandy, for example, you pop General Sandy in your team. I'm sorry, even with constant Evo, she's still faster. And she'll hit her. There goes your S3. Now you can't use it.
Yeah. All right, Chino.
I think I would put her at tier 1. Maybe
Yeah.
not for PvP, but she's still got she's probably still the most widely used rider for everything outside of PvP.
Mhm.
It's just that good.
Yeah. No, like in like pretty much all kinds of content, you can use her in like Guild Raid. You can use her in Vortex. I know I bring my Chino into like a ton of vortexes, like in a bunch of teams, just for like the healing and stuff alone. Like she's fast. She's got DOTs. Like she's just really good. It's just that she's not the best character for PvP, but her usability and
She's very
viability and
balanced.
literally all kinds of content, I think, earns her. Would you say tier 1 or 1.5?
I'd say tier 1 because
That's
you
fair.
can still use her in
Yeah.
PvP with good effectiveness. I use her in Grand Coliseum. It's just she's not overbearing. She's very
Yeah.
balanced.
Yeah. Sutaler.
Probably 1.5. This is that character that I've gotten asked about a lot. I think you've seen it too. People were asking me a lot about her in the Discord channels because they wanted to know, should they use her? Is she good? Is she not? And I'm just, she's not a bad character.
She's pretty
As a
solid.
As a DPS, she works. She has good defense breaks. She has shields. She has defense downs.
Mm-hmm.
Got move gauge downs. It's just, if you're gonna pick her, or like I'd even say, if I wanted to use her versus Elegant Phoenix Uriel with HP percent damage,
Yeah.
I'd probably pick the Uriel because that damage is just gonna kick no matter what.
Right.
Or if I was gonna pick between her or OG Lucifer, I'd still pick Lucifer because she's way faster.
Yeah. For sure.
So he's probably fitted more to a supporting role now.
Mm.
But means is she a bad character. It's just her niche has been filled in by better characters.
Right. So Thurza.
I think I'd still say 1.5 for OG Thurza.
Yeah.
She's fast. She can answer agility teams really well.
Mm-hmm.
She's really not that great. And let's be honest, how many people remember she's a character before someone finally says, "What about Thurza?"
Yeah. Right. So then, what about her alt?
Probably like 2 to 2.5. I don't think I've seen her alt used since it came out, if I'm completely honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, she was used on release for Guild Raid. I never really saw her used beyond that. I think she's solid, but she's not like super amazing, if I remember right.
Yeah, I can
Right.
agree with that.
Yeah. So, Gun Girl.
Gun Lucy, my
Yeah.
favorite one of Lucy's. I have to lean either high tier 1 or low end of tier point 0.5. With her consonants, she definitely got a good boost, but it's RNG.
Yeah.
And I mean, she can delete pretty much any blue unit, let's
Yeah.
be honest.
Yeah.
If you have a blue and she hits it, it dies.
Yeah, she's nuts. She's a tactical nuke against blues. She's gonna hit anything really hard, and then on top of that, her passive debuffs your two enemies' fastest
Highest
characters.
speed.
Yeah, highest speed by 250%, or 250 flat, not percent.
Yeah, which is honestly stronger than the percentage, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Just you just
By
lose.
500.
Yeah, yeah. You just lose a bunch of speed.
I'd say high 1 or high point 0.5 or low point 0.5, sorry.
Yeah. I kind of want to put her right above Hero Gab just because of how many times I've been fucked over by her in PvP, but I'd
I
say
can
like
agree with it.
she's right around the same tier as like Winter Lucy, I'd say.
When she finally gets her super Evo, she's gonna go higher. I know that
Mhm.
for a fact. Like she's pretty much, if you're playing against Christmas Satan, that's kind of why I give her the 0.5. If you're against Christmas Satan or Kimono Lucifer and this Lucifer goes first, they're gone.
Yeah.
There goes your strongest character. Right
Yeah.
there.
For sure.
And she's stun immune, so even a Michael can't stop her. Actually,
Great.
she's stun and confuse immune now that I recall.
Oh. Stun and confuse immune?
Yeah, so Pan and Michael cannot stop her.
Okay, I'm gonna put her at the bottom of 0.5 then.
Yeah, she's got good immunities. She's like one of the only stun immune characters.
Yeah. So Bride Levy then is next.
I say probably higher end of tier 1. I almost want to put her at 1.5 because she really has fallen off. I love the character, but you need a Lucifer for her full kit to really kick in.
Yeah.
She's charm immune, which kind of bugs me that a Leviathan doesn't have freeze immunity, but
Right.
it's a different.
Yeah.
She can remove confuse, which is really good, but she has to take a turn,
Yeah.
and she's easily countered by anyone with crowd control. Like you need deer shards for her,
Mm-hmm.
but that on her takes away her speed, which means you have to slow down your whole team to account for that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I could put her higher than tier 1. Probably like middle of the road tier 1 at this point. I mean,
Okay.
she's still got speed damage, and her crowd control is good. It's she needs her Evo or her consonants to happen for me to place her any higher than that.
Yeah. I was thinking either like top of 1.5 or in between Asmodeus and Sariel for tier 1.
I think I'd go with probably tier 1, maybe a little lower.
Yeah. Yeah, she's on the
She's
lower
not
end.
as good anymore. Like,
Yeah.
because you have to stack up for her ultimate to really do what it needs to do. Like, you don't get that move gauge unless she's got the 5 stacks of her passive, and
Mm-hmm.
that takes forever to get. Sorry, that's 5 turns.
Yeah. Jeez. All right. So reverse bunny Asmo.
I actually put her in tier 1.
Interesting. I was gonna say 1.5. Um.
Her fit as a healer and a tank. I can honestly say when I was fighting you, I did have losses because of Reverse Bunny Asmo, because of her healing, and because she grabs 3 enemies at the start with that taunt. And taunt immunity is not very common right now, so
Right.
it's a pretty strong character because of what she can do.
Yeah. I mean, I absolutely love her. Like, it took me a while to really fully understand her kit and how to use it. But like now that like I kind of have a grasp on her better, I love her kit. You know, having AOE damage reduction when pretty much everyone's doing AOE damage, being able to give your team like even more damage reduction, like off of her ult, being able to taunt on opening, being able to heal, like I'm pretty sure she even has like 2 moves that heal, and they heal a good chunk. Like I've looked at some of my numbers at the end of a match, and she's healed for like 160,000 sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. She's a good character. I also want to point out how you were just singing her praises. Do you remember the one person when she came out that was like, nah, don't judge a book by its
Yeah,
cover?
it was you. I was saying that she was shit, and you were telling me that I was wrong, and you were right. And yes, I see it now.
It's almost like I knew what I was talking about. Don't
Yeah,
judge a book by their cover.
yeah,
That's happened with a lot of characters that have come out too. I've always been the one to be like, they might not, they'll probably be pretty good. You know, they'll probably be around here, maybe not broken, but I don't
hmm
think they're going to be bad. And how many times have I been right?
a pretty fair chunk so far, to be honest.
It's just like with Speed Raphael. Everyone was saying how bad she was, and I know we can all recall when I was using her in top PvP and spanking people with her.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, her S3 kind of maxed out your speed, but that's
Yeah, back when she was bugged. All right, but moving on, Panagia is next, and I think this is another one that we kind of disagree on. Personally, uh, well, this is also, you guys, something that we were talking about, like, pretty much all of yesterday. We started, like, a debate in the Discord. Um, I'm saying she's tier 0. You're saying she's fallen off.
I think point 0.5 max. She's still super strong, but there's a lot of answers to this character now. A lot of CC immune characters have come out. Metatron's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can still counter her move gauge nonsense with OG Raphael or a number of other characters. General Sandy can counter a lot of her shenanigans. Satan exists, or Dark Fury Satan exists, I should say.
Yeah.
And basically ignores every little bit of her speed reductions. Like, and I've pointed this out to God before. If you want to counter a plus 21 OG Leviathan, you actually need Sariel, Panagia, and an OG Leviathan that isn't plus 21 just to counter that speed difference.
Just to break even. It's not even
just
like...
to break even.
Yeah.
So you actually need what people consider widely one of the strongest characters just to counter a character with 2 others in addition to that. So that's kind of my thought process. I'm not going to say she's bad, but the biggest threat Panagia poses to anybody now that I see in PvP is her turn 1 confuses, the 3 confuses.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many characters that just answer that out right now or have immunity to it. I'm going to point out, Coco Astaroth is immune. Christmas Satan's immune if you have her blood pact. Chocolate Nana, I mean, you just got to put her on your team and you're good. The new Raphael, Oktoberfest Raphael, I think she's supposed to be made Raphael, but you know what? She's Oktoberfest. She's got beer and weed.
Yeah.
She's October. Her being on your team, she actually is better than Bride Leviathan or even Witch Mammon at removing Confuse. Because if you have Beer Raphael on your team, she just gives your whole team Confuse immunity. you don't even have to use a skill. She just does it. So
Yeah. So
that's my thought process. There's so many answers to the biggest threat she has now, and you don't need it to be multiple characters anymore. You just
yeah.
need one.
Yeah, I mean that's what you were saying. Like I was saying that like you have to have a counter to Pangea, otherwise you're gonna be having a bad time. But like just there being so many different counters to her to choose from, like there's gonna be one that's right for your team. There's gonna be one that you're gonna like. Probably one of your waifus, like has confuse immunity or can get rid of confuse. So, I mean, it's just an easy slot in to a lot of teams. So I will concede this one and put her at the top of point 0.5.
If it wasn't such like if it was how it was before, where it was a real pain to account for her because you really need one or two characters, I'd concede it right there. It's just now you can pick one character that meshes really well with your team.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I gotcha. Moving on to the latest and greatest top tier threat that we just recently got, Kimono Lucy.
So I'm in between. I think she is a tier 0 character, but I almost want to put her at the very, very top of point 0.5.
Okay.
My reasoning behind this is what I've seen as her biggest threats, as it is right now, is her S3 being turn 0 and all of her move gauge stuff. I've kind of looked at what her passive does with the damage dealt
Yeah.
down, and on its own, I kind of find it's pretty negligible. It's the extra damage afterwards that really kicks in and makes her hurt.
Yeah.
But there are actual answers to it. In particular, I know we have one that's a popular pick that we'll get to shortly. I believe there's one or two others that can also deal with it. And don't quote me because I don't remember entirely off the top of my head. I think Cheerleader Metatron can actually handle her passive because it is a removable debuff.
Yeah.
Real quick, hang on. Let me make sure I'm not going crazy here. Okay, Cheerleader Metatron cannot, but I know there's one in particular I pointed out that actually very much can. The charms are pretty easy to handle. I mean, if you slot in OG Asmodeus, that's answered right there. And if you're using OG Raphael or Cherry Seer, that answers all of the move gauge stuff.
Yeah. Like the thing for me though is, so there's literally two characters in the game that I can think of off the top of my head that give you charm immunity for your team. It's Asmodeus and Camilla.
A lot of charm. So charm is a pretty it's a difficult CC to handle because there's a lot of characters do have charm immunities.
Yeah.
So if I put a few out, you can use OG Metatron, but we know why she's strong. We know what she does. Her ult also has charm immunities. Bride Leviathan has charm immunity.
Yeah, it's one of the more common immunities that get just kind of tossed on characters.
So I think it is strong, and I think it's strong in our meta because charm immunity is not very common anymore.
Yeah.
At least in our teams.
Well, even
she's playing for move gauge stuff to me.
Yeah, even like just beyond the charm, right? So like if you try to go out of your way to counter Lucy, like you can only counter so much. And then you still have 4 other characters on her team to deal with. It's like, okay, cool, you killed the Lucy, now what about everybody else? So like the biggest thing for me, the reason why Lucy is so top tier in my opinion is because she has a big target on her back. She's a brand new character, very hyped. People are looking at her kit like, oh, she's broken. She's getting thrown on everybody's team. People are panicking, trying to counter her. And then it's really Lucy's teammates putting in the work because you know Lucy is taking all the heat.
I have to agree with that. And I mean, her passive is really strong and it's difficult to get rid of.
Hmm.
That's honestly, I think the move gauge and the passive are probably the most threatening things that she has on
Yeah.
her kit. The charm I find pretty negligible, but that's just me.
Mm.
Uh, if she was faster, she'd definitely be more scary. It's just CC immunity and charm immunities are rather common, especially CC immunity right now is
Yeah.
super common.
Right.
So she's, I want to say lower end of tier 0 because she is still strong,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
but
I put her at the
she can
bottom of tier
she,
0.
she can be answered by like one character
Hmm.
as needing multiple.
Yeah. All right. So the other bub alt,
The
is
one
this,
that I think only one person uses.
yeah, cat bub.
Um, I think I'd put her still in tier 1.
Yeah.
She she's got a lot of good things on her. She can remove revive block. She removes headwind. She's got HP percent damage.
Yeah.
She can off people's all damage reduction. Um, she inflicts charm on 3 enemies, and she saves her allies from any cooldown reductions.
Yeah,
So
that's
like
pretty nice.
she's got decent kit. It's just she's not huge.
Yeah. Should we put her
She's
in 1.5 then, or just 1 because of the HP damage?
I think 1 because not only can she give enemies a damage take or a damage dealt reduction, she
Mhm.
also gives her team up to 30% damage taken reduced.
Hmm.
So that's 60% between the two.
Yeah, that's
I think 1 is fair. She's not. She's just not widely used.
right. She also hasn't had a rerun in like forever.
Yeah, she's one of the more recent picks, but I don't think she's had a crazy rerun.
Right. All right. So swimsuit Belial.
I would honestly say 1.5. Um, I know that she gets extra stuff later with Consonance and Super Evo.
Yeah, she is just kind of lacking stats right now.
I cannot say I've felt this Belial have any impact on like anything.
Yeah. I mean, having CC immunity is nice. It's just like her stats just feel too low at the moment.
And I'm sorry to our resident Belial simps. It's just I feel we can all agree this Belial was kind of eh.
Yeah. All right. So Idol Michael. This.
I would say either tier 1 or low 1.5. Her kit is really, really good.
Mhm.
This was one of those characters again. A lot of people talked shit about her,
Really?
but oh yeah, the day she came out, I saw a lot of the Michael Simps in the Discord talking crap about this character and saying how bad she was.
Huh.
And you know who was the one person to walk in there and go, wait a second, nah, she's actually pretty good if you build her the right way. And turns out she's still up there in PvP. Like
Yeah.
you've seen
No,
her on
she's
a lot of
she's
higher PvP teams.
she's great. Like I know I had some reservations about her at first, but I ended up simping for her and getting her maxed out like day 1 or 2. So, and now I use her all the time and I love her. She's great.
She's a really good character. And again, this was one of those characters where everybody was like, nah, she won't be any good. And you had me sitting in the back going, wait a second, are you really just throwing it out there at like before you've even really tried or experimented? So it's one of those characters where I'll defend the Michael. Like I defend these oddball characters that everyone looks at and goes, nah, this will suck.
Right?
And every time my hunch tends to be correct. I think there's only one where it really wasn't. And I don't even remember which character it was anymore.
Yeah. Okay, so Fez Yuri. Festival Uriel.
Point 0.5, easy point 0.5. Her kit is so loaded. If anybody has a dot on them, she removes Confuse, Taunt, and I believe Frozen from all of her allies. She can revive people. I think she revives on death too, in
Yeah.
addition to her. Is it? No, I don't think it's in addition to her ultimate or her S3. Hang on, let me make sure I'm
Uh,
not information here. Let me see here. So, this is the character I was talking about, and this is going to be the main reason I give her that 0.5. If you use Festival Uriel Skill 3, it removes all stackable debuffs from allies, which includes what Kimono Lucifer does. So, if you, and it's only I think it's a 2-turn CT,
mm-hmm.
but you use that, and suddenly that fallen wings, whatever she gives you, is gone from all of your allies.
Yeah, she also has like move gauge buffs and a bunch of good stuff in her kit.
Removes headwind. She removes buffs from enemies. Her dot is insane too. If she uses her skill 1, she'll remove any dot statuses from all of her allies, and then she heals 3 allies of the lowest HP by 25% of her own.
Oh yeah, she's got healing too. So just very, very stacked kit.
She's very bouncy too.
Yeah.
So
Oh my god.
here's the specific effect of her thing. So she's a huge counter for Panagia, Kimono Lucifer, and for OG Leviathan as well. Because if the enemy has a dot effect on them, and a removable one, which her own dot is exactly that, or Mammon or Chino,
Mm-hmm.
but those removable effects, she will remove Confuse, Charm, and Freeze from every ally. And they just have to have it. That's it.
Yeah.
And
Assuming she didn't get CC'd herself.
even if she gets CC'd herself, it just has to be her turn. As soon as her turn kicks, if any enemy has it, it removes them all.
Oh, she doesn't have to like take an action. It just has to be start of her turn.
Not at all. It literally just says if any of the enemies is affected by removable dot before the turn, remove all allies, confuse, charm, and freeze.
Huh.
And in addition to that, we'll add on if she has that. It's the same thing. If they have removable dot, any agility type characters on your team immediately get Iron Wrist, which is 35% more attack, and an increased move gauge by 35%.
Nice.
That you're not using her with your Asmodeus team honestly makes me question a lot.
I was going to. I didn't have the capacity to get her and get her maxed out at the time. I had things that I needed to save for.
But yeah, for a blue team, she's insanely good.
Yeah. Like don't get me wrong, she like if I could have, I would have.
So you heard it here first, guys.
So Monster Hunter Sandy.
I would say either tier 1 or 1.5. I honestly feel her kit is pretty underwhelming. And I think I've seen like 1 or 2 people use her.
Yeah. I feel like
Don't get me wrong, she's good still. I'm not don't mistake me. I'm not saying bad character. I'm saying she has felt underwhelming with what she does compared to a lot of the other characters.
yeah, like her kit is very simplistic, but there's nothing wrong with that. Like she's got the basics, right? Like she's got CC immunity, she's got attack buff, she's got defense buff. Like that's kind of like all she does. Like it's her bread and butter, but like that's not bad.
I think the biggest thing that sunk that for me was they decided to give her skill 3 power attack seal, and it's only for 2 enemies. When I can use OG Raphael and she does it on 3 to 4 enemies.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, if you have OG Raphael on your team, her consonance gives your whole team blanket power attack seal immunity.
All right.
So that's for her consonants, though. It takes a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'd still say probably tier one because her passive buffs with Fairy Tail are still pretty good, and I believe you can stack them with Alice Gabriel too.
Yeah.
But she does not feel like she's crazy good.
Yeah. So I'd say probably
It only feels middle of the road.
like top of 1.5, maybe bottom of 1. All right. All right. So here's your girl. You just got this one maxed out. Beer
I
Raff.
did just get her maxed out. I would say top of tier one or bottom of tier zero. Or not tier zero, 0.5. Sorry.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Is she as good as Festival Uriel? Yes or no question. I don't need an explanation. Just yes or no.
Uh, I think Festival Uriel is better in a supporting role.
Okay. Well, now answer this question. Is Beer Raff better than Winter Lucy?
Yes. By a long shot, yes.
Okay. Then Winter Lucy is the gatekeeper from tier 1 to 0.5. So we're putting her in 0.5. Right underneath Fez Yuri.
And I'm going to add to it. So, Beer Raphael, I was correct. She is one of 2 characters that can remove steady from all enemies. Her skill 2 doesn't.
Nice.
So if you're fighting a Kimono Lucifer and you have Beer Raphael, guess what? Make her faster than your Christmas Satan. Now you can nuke their move gauge again.
She's also basically makes Panagia irrelevant. But I think we covered that already.
She really does. I like the character a lot more now that I've built her.
Yeah.
She's super.
Nice. All right, so Alice Gab.
I have only seen one person use this character.
Oh no, I've seen someone other than that one person use this character. I run into her, a couple of times a week in Grand Coliseum.
She might be filling out slots, but in terms of lists, I have seen one person use this character. Feel like we don't even need to ask who used this character. I have a feeling that we all know exactly who it is. I would give her probably either 0.5 or high end of tier 1.
Okay, so same question. If she's going into 0.5, is she as good as Beer Raff, and is she better than Winter Lucy?
I don't think she's as good as Beer Raff. I feel she is slightly better than Xmas Lucy. She does a little bit more, but I don't know if it's enough for 0.5.
Okay, we'll put her right behind Winter Lucy then.
Actually, hang on. Because I'm reading her just to make sure.
Okay.
So, I would put her 0.5.
0.5?
She gives 3 allies with the highest speed a 7% speed boost that stacks 5 times. She can remove targets' shields and all damage reduction. And if it's an odd turn, she can daze them. If it's an even turn, she boosts move gauge. Her skill 3 can inflict headwind and cuts enemy speed by 500. That's a big chunk.
Yeah.
In addition to giving her whole team steady. And after that move is done, she removes the enemy steady.
Okay.
In addition to she's got turn 0 CC immunity, and she uses 2 enemies. On top of that Fairy Tail passive that Sandy has,
Jesus.
which 5% attack and 5% defense 10 times. And she gets final damage taken to herself reduced by 35%.
Yep, she's cracked. You definitely would have 0.5, I think.
She is a very good character.
Yeah.
It's just nobody really uses her.
Yeah, it's very surprising. I think she also kind of came out at an awkward time. I'm assuming not too many people had the resources to invest into her, except for maybe,
Only one person did,
yeah.
and
And
and his Alice Gab is pretty interesting to fight.
yeah, he doesn't even do PvP anymore. He's sitting at like rank 140 right now or something.
He barely plays anymore.
I know. It's because he's whoring in Genshin.
He is. He is.
All right, last character. Um, Swimsuit Belfie.
Can I get forgettable characters for 500, guy?
I feel so bad for Belfie. Like, I love her, but like,
It's really cool, but
yeah,
man, they did her dirty.
yeah,
For the character that's supposed to be the strongest sin, if she actually cares enough to do it, damn.
yeah.
I'd say probably 1.5.
Okay,
I don't remember what she does in particular,
right.
but
I remember her being pretty solid. I think she's got Headwind.
so she inflicts headwind on all enemies for 2 turns.
Yeah.
She Let's see. She cuts speed of the 3 highest tech enemies by 20%,
Okay.
and 2 enemies HP by 35%. Let's see. She can freeze targets, and she inflicts injured, headwind again. She gives all allies 120, or no, that's not speed. Hang on. She removes all damage reduction. Let's see. She can give all of her allies 50% defense. Let's see. And she boosts her own move gain.
She's pretty solid. I'd say.
Also heals herself, but yeah, I think I'd say like 1.5, maybe high end.
Yeah, that's where I put her.
But I don't think that she's high enough to go above that.
Yeah.
That should be everybody.
Yep, that is in fact everybody. All right. So I'm gonna slowly scroll through this so you guys can see it. Screenshot if you want to. I'll probably share this somewhere. Yeah. Here is the updated Seven Mortal Sins global tier list.
With some debate to it too on these characters.
Yeah, in-depth tier list. This video is over an hour long, so
It is content, baby. Content.
right. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. Thank you, Levy, for coming on and helping me put this together.
Yeah, just let me know if you need me for that other idea later.
Yeah, for sure, we'll do. But with that, I think I'm gonna head out of here. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Uses.